How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the very heated exchange that happened between Democratic House Rep Maxine Waters and Republican House Rep Mike Kelly. Maxine Waters, being from California, she represents South Los Angeles, but she lives in a different part of town, Hancock Park, which is not obviously in South Los Angeles, but I digress. And Mike Kelly, the Republican, represents a district somewhere in Pennsylvania. I'm not quite exactly sure where, but I will put more information about the both of them in the box below. They were involved in a heated exchange on the House floor about an auto lending rule. Now, before we get into what the rule is and why they were arguing about it, what I want to do right now is go ahead and roll the video of them having the exchange. You'll be able to see what was going on, why it's controversial, why it's news, and then we'll come on back. I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Mr. Speaker and members, I can't believe that in 2018, we're on the floor of Congress seeing the denial of some of my colleagues about discrimination in the auto lending business and defending the automobile lenders, despite the fact there's been a study that shows that there has been discrimination. And the study should have included women because they discriminate against women also. They think women are stupid, don't know how to negotiate a loan, and women have been taken advantage of too.
To impugn the integrity of the automobile people is absolutely beyond reproach. And so if you run out of facts, I guess the next thing you have to go to is discrimination. And when we talk this way, it is so divisive, but that's the platform. Let's divide them. Let's try to separate them. The color of the skin, the shape of their eye, their gender. Let's make sure that we can make every statement possible to show that there are bad people out there doing things to other folks. And it's only by discrimination that these things get done. I will tell you, I am greatly offended as a member of the automobile industry and as someone who has served thousands of people. If you think the dealers are that bad, please go to your hometown and look at the Little League fence and find out whose name's out there. Look at your high school programs and see who it is that's funding all these things. Go to any charity and see who's on the list of who takes care of people. We are doing the same thing every day that you are doing. We are trying to make sure that we're making America great every day in every way. And the best way to do that is to stop talking about discrimination and start talking about the nation. We're coming together as a people in spite of what you say.
Mr. Kelly, please do not leave. Because I want you to know that I am more offended as an African-American woman than you will ever be. And this business about making America great again, it is your president that's dividing this country. And don't talk to me about the fact that we don't understand what happens on the automobile. No, I will not yield. No, I will not yield.
Okay.
Don't tell me that we don't understand. That's the attitude that's been given toward women time and time again. Don't you dare talk to me like that and think that somehow women don't understand what goes on the floor of automobile dealers. I don't appreciate that you did not interrupt him when he was making those outrageous remarks about him knowing more about discrimination than I know about discrimination. I resent that, and I resent the remark about making America great again. He's down here making a speech for this dishonorable president of the United States of America. Having said that, I reserve the balance of my time, and no, I do not yield not 1 second to you. Not 1 second. Not 1 second to you.
All right, so you saw what happened there. You heard what happened there. Now, many of you may be kind of confused. What's going on? Why were they arguing? What's really happening here? Now, let's talk about this auto lending rule that has been repealed. Well, it wasn't really a rule. I need to just backtrack on that. It's a guidance. It's a guidance that came into effect in 2013 under Barack Obama from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, that is a CFPB. Now, the reason why this got repealed is because it was getting in the way of a lot of people being able to do their business. You know, dealership owners like my man Mike Kelly, he is a House rep, also a car dealership owner, and the big companies as well, because the CFPB used their actual guidance, which was backed up by so-called studies, in lawsuits. You're talking about millions of dollars in lawsuits. I'm not quite sure if any of the lawsuits have actually resulted in money's being paid out, and if the money did get paid out, who did it get paid out to? Now let's explain this so-called guidance. The guidance was to try and stamp out what some would call discriminatory markup on auto loans. So when you go into a dealership and you're negotiating the terms of how much you're going to pay for a vehicle if you're getting it financed, what the dealership can do is present a loan to you that may come from a third party. So let's say you're in a dealership, you may get financed from some random third party, bank or whatever that they have in-house. Although it's in-house, it's still third party. The dealership can put on extra interest to that loan as further compensation, as extra compensation. Their argument is that this tool, this device was used more against so-called minority auto buyers than non-minority. Basically, white people were given preferential treatment in this, but blacks and others were not. But there's really been no evidence to prove it. You know, there's all kind of little studies they come up with. It was one study that looked at everything by last name and zip code to determine when the actual that device was used. But I'm sure there's more things that go into it than that. You're talking about your credit score, your credit history. A lot of other things will go into it rather than just somebody's name, how they look, or whatever. Now, many would back Maxine Waters and say that she was saying the right thing here because the guy was just trying to defend some racist thing, make America great again. They're thinking that it's a dog whistle to racism, but that's not what it is. It's about just trying to allow businesses to operate without so much interference. Because like I said, this was not a rule. However, it was used in lawsuits as a backup to sue auto dealerships and also the big companies that service the auto dealerships, your Toyotas, Mazda, whatever, maybe even Ford, maybe even American companies. They're suing them and they're getting monies. Now, where does the money go? I don't know. That's my thing. If you have the CFPB suing a dealership or a Toyota for millions of dollars and they win the actual lawsuit or they get a settlement, where does the money go? And then they want to use racism and discrimination. To me, this is just a further example of the Democratic plantation. There's all kinds of ways they can make money off of the plantation that you don't even really know about. Lawsuits and stuff like that that are supposed to be protecting you. Did you know anything about this lawsuit? Did you get any money if you are a so-called minority? And what about the actual dealerships? How's that going to affect them? A lot of people who are not white working in dealerships, you're getting sued because of what you have been doing for a long time financially, or the company you work for or the company you work with is getting sued for something they've been doing for a long time financially. And that might affect you and your bottom line. Is that fair to you? And again, if there's any money paid out, where does it go? That's what I want to know. That's my main thing. So Maxine Waters is just playing on this whole race thing. And she does that consistently. This is not a new thing. Maxine Waters is hated by many in California, regardless of what color they are, because they know what time it is with her. She represents South Los Angeles, South Central, one of the worst neighborhoods in Los Angeles County, but she lives in one of the best neighborhoods. And her estate is like $4.8 million. Allegedly, she paid her daughter $750,000 to pass out campaign flyers. Where's all this money coming from if you represent such a poor area? How are you getting all this money? A lot of it just comes from poverty pimping. Are you involved in lawsuits? Are you involved in any kind of action like that? What do you do aside from your job in Congress? What's really going on? That's what I want to know. But this is really just part of the course for the Democratic Party. They're not so much worried about you. They tell you that, oh, we are on your side as a so-called minority, but they do whatever is financially beneficial for them. And that's just what it is. I don't see anybody could see anything different. So this big dog and pony show from Maxine Waters, that's fine. People would like her. They won't even really look at the actual rule and see what it says. Pardon me, the guidance, not the rule. They won't even look at the actual guidance and see what it says. All they're going to see is this lady on stage, so-called defending herself against this evil white man. Okay. But if you were to take 2 seconds to be a little bit intellectual and understand what's happening, then you would see this is not a case of black versus white, some kind of race war. It's about what makes sense logically for a car dealership to be able to do and what does not make sense. Personally, I'm not for any kind of government regulations on how people give you their money, lend you their money, or whatever it is. It's their money. They should be able to lend it to you however they want. If a dealership is being caught doing racist things, quote unquote racist things, then the free market says, okay, you're no longer going to be our dealership. If enough people say that we don't want to have that happen, rather than going over to Bob's car lot, I'm going to go to Jim's car lot, and that's just what it's going to be. It's really simple. All these little rules and stuff like that are, in my opinion, as I close, again, to get money out of people to go into special interest pockets, not back in your pocket. So what do you think? Do you think that Maxine Waters was right in this case? And if so, please explain to me why. Why was she right? Make America great. Is that such a bad thing to say? That is something that all of us as Americans should want for our country to be better than it is right now, to go back to a time where we had more money, where we had more family structure. Why is that a bad thing? But do you think that Mike Kelly was correct about this not being a racial thing? We're just trying to get the country back rolling. All these little rules and regulations and guidances and all this and that need to kind of just go the way the dodo bird and become extinct if we're going to move forward in a positive way. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.